This week on the Squatchers Lounge podcast, David and the Reverend Jeff discuss a near and dear topic: Bigfoot in California. We wish they could all be California girls, just like Patty, but they can't. Join us as we get into the nitty-gritty about what makes those California Bigfoot so bilfy. If bilfy's a thing, we'll get to that. But before we do, I'm going to turn it over to our man, the Bilf Hunter, the Reverend Jeff Kelly.
That's right. I want to find me a Bigfoot I'd like to film. That's right. Brand new acronym brought here to you on the Squatchers Lounge podcast. I'm one of the hosts of this mess, the Reverend Jeff Kelly, and over there is the other host of this mess, the Dr. David Batdorf, Esquire, accredited pseudoscientist. How you doing, pal?
No, I do not want to make love to a Sasquatch, you sick bastard.
Their minds go directly into the gutter. That's right. A Bigfoot I'd like to film. That way it doesn't have to be male or female. See how that works? That's right. As usual, this time of the show, we get a little bit of newsies. So let's kick it off with just that. Our news segment is brought to you by a big green screen. Angel's Dust Seasoning. That's right. Facebook.com/Angel's Dust Seasoning. Get your shakers for $7 plus shipping today. And holy crap, it makes it. Dude, I had it on turkey today, and it was just, it was super turkey. It just makes everything better, including watermelon. I don't know how to explain it. Buy some, put it on your watermelon, and find out. That's what I can tell you about Angel's Dust Seasoning. Go get yours today. Yummy, yummy.
Established in the year 2000.
That's right.
I would like say 1000, whatever possible.
2000, the Y2K. You know the millennium's going to kill everybody on the planet. Hey, this was a very strange thing that came across my desktop the other day. egomega.org. No idea why. A spiritual journey with Survivor Man, reconnecting to the earth. I have made it my mission to help people understand the importance of the environment and how it affects their lives. It's about reconnecting with the earth. Les Stroud. Can knowing how to build a fire or find your way into the wild enrich your life? Celebrated survival expert Les Stroud, creator and star of Survivor Man documentary television, says yes. Of course he does, because he's charging $415 a slot. The weekend using nature as your guide, you learn practical wilderness skills as a metaphor for life and as a way of staying connected to yourself and the planet. Discover how to get down to basics. Practice wilderness awareness tools to develop your sixth sense, and learn techniques for calming the body when lost. Calming the body when lost? No, that's the time to panic, jackass. Stroud shows you how these essential practices can help ground you in your daily experiences and deepen your spiritual connection to the earth. Through gentle outdoor adventuring, storytelling, music, self-reflection, private time, land skills training, and the valuable earth wisdom lessons Stroud has gathered from around the world, you'll learn the natural way to bring more clarity, peace in nature, and spirituality into your life. Wow. That's all I can say about that. What a sales pitch. Bravo. Yeah. Whoever wrote that shit, boy, do you believe that crap? Because wow, that's where I'm at with that. I am literally impressed with your skills of bullshit.
Yeah, the skills of bullshittery. I mean, there's a lot to be said for the calming effects of being
what I don't
in
understand
nature.
Is check-in is at 4:00 and rooms are available after 5. Rooms? Where exactly are we learning wilderness calming skills if we're in rooms?
You know, after chicken, you build the room. That's how bushcraft works. You got to stay on schedule.
Or are we bushcrafting it to hit the friggin' Hilton Holiday Inn ballroom course?
Well, this is in New York somewhere. So, I mean, yeah, you can get off grid a little bit, but, there's always a room nearby. So,
yoga, the 12-step recovery leadership training. I mean, this is the kind of, anyhow, Go check it out if you want to. I just found it was funny that whoever wrote that bullshit piece was just amazing.
They did a really nice job of selling it. But if you want to spend a $415 tuition to get New Agey with Les Stroud, now's the fucking time.
Yeah, because it's going to go do nothing but go up, Let's see here. What's up? Oh, that's right. Star2.com. I love this idea. On this island in Perak, you're in a cage and the orangutans watch you. It's like, you can't leave, but we can hit you with our poo. That's right. They're poo-slinging orangutans and there ain't shit you can do about it. On an island in the lake in Perak, orangutan get the chance to observe human beings of all shapes and sizes. The humans meander inside tunnel cages made of reinforced metal. Being curious, these humans will stop walking when spotted by an orangutan. They will even gesture excitedly and make clacking noises if the orangutan does something that attracts their attention. This gives the orangutan plenty of opportunities to study human behavior. That's just kind of very strange. I don't know how I feel about this.
This is kind of an interesting, like, reversed zoo idea. However, the orangutans are pretty much still held hostage, and the cages are just there to keep you safe. So nice reverse psychology, but it's really not a people zoo for orangutan. But that's cool, because what else do like when you're stuck out there on an island, like, man, I can't leave. I'd really like to see the city someday.
Yeah, especially they don't swim.
But there's something going on over there. These people are clicking. Whoa.
Click, clackety, clack, clickety, clack, clack, clack. I just thought it was a very strange reversal for, it is an orangutan habitat where most of the land is dedicated to the orangutan. So hooray for that.
Is this island in Russia? Because in my country, orangutan watch you.
Russia, orangutan watch you. That's right. Hey, you ladies, here's your chance. Harvard Medical School scientists need a female volunteer willing to give birth to a genetically modified Neanderthal. That's right. You dated that dude before. It really doesn't matter. Sorry, but one of the world's leading geneticists wants to bring back an extinct human species by cloning it from reconstructed DNA, then implanting the resulting embryo into the womb of a human woman. Now I need the adventurous female human. No, you need a dumbass, said George Church, a Harvard Medical School. It depends on a hell of a lot of things, but I think it can be done. It's not a matter of it can be done. It shouldn't be done. Haven't you seen Jurassic Park? We've all seen Jurassic Park. Shit like this never, ever, ever ends well.
So let's just, again, this is where we we'll for a moment consider the source, natural news. There's probably some sort of like anti-vaccine thing on here. Oh, look, an ad for making your own colloidal silver. Great. Okay, so
we all can turn blue like Smurfs. Yay.
Yeah. And die of heavy metal poisoning. So the interesting thing about websites like this is that they take news from 2012-ish, which was this gentleman actually said that, and it was actually a misquote and a misrepresentation due to a little bit of English as a second language. This was actually they were talking about
in an interview with a German magazine, Der Spiegel.
In a German magazine with a German reporter asking questions that are very much figurative in a different language, and this person answers very much directly, because that's what you do when somebody gives you a figurative question you don't understand. It says, yeah, well, we need a very adventurous woman to do that.
As a matter of fact, North Koreans do eat dogs.
Yeah, but okay,
it's shocking but true. I mean,
but so enough people have debunked this, and Snopes is like totally over it. So let's put it out there again, and maybe we'll sell some
colloidal silver,
and
Berkeley water purifiers.
Oh my goodness! So sorry, natural news.
It just kills me. It absolutely kills me that people think this is real.
A 7-stage air purifier and humidifier. It'll take care of all the chemtrails.
What's really screwed up is I've got ad blocker on, so it's like, wow, screw you people. Anyhow, we're out of this mess. There ain't no Neanderthal coming out of no woman, so don't think you're getting paid any money for it.
Yeah.
In other real news from a place like newscientist.com, I'm still not sold, but I don't see any ads forced on me here. Who's your daddy? An unknown hominid species that bred with early human ancestors when they migrated from Africa to Australasia.
Land bridge-ish.
Has been identified through genome mapping of living humans. See, that's how it's done, people. It's called science. When Melba Ketchum brought forth the bear steak and deemed it Sasquatch Genome Project #1 and said that it had a human mama and some unknown weird alien subspecies hominid as a father, it just don't work that way.
If you don't understand where you're looking, or if you look wherever, it could work that way. I mean, it could, like that. Yeah. If you're
but she didn't find any bear in that steak, and that's how that didn't work out.
Yeah, because she wasn't looking for bear. If you're not looking for something, you'll never find it, right? Yeah. So anyway, moving on.
The genome analysis also questions previous findings that modern humans populated Asia in 2 waves from their origin in Africa, finding instead a common origin for all populations in the Asia-Pacific region, dating back to a single out-of-Africa migration event. See, this is the problem, is the scientists argue with each other. It happened once, it happened twice. No, it had to happen once because everything was shit up there when you were saying it happened there and it didn't work. So
so that is the scientific process. It's like, right. Well, what about this? What about this? What about this? What about this? But the scientific reporting is, oh, look, this overturns everything we know about the human population and migrate. No, wait, just one moment.
Oh, you'll love this part here. Mysterious ancestor, but when James, I can't pronounce his last name, at Pompeu Fabra University in Spain, how you like that, bastards? His colleagues analyzed the genomes of living indigenous Australians, not Australia Asians, because that whole thing sunk to the bottom of the ocean. I can't say that word.
Papuans?
Yeah, Papuans. People from the Andaman Islands near India and from mainland India. They found sections of DNA that did not match any previously identified hominid species. Well, shit, Bob. We looked here for the answer, but it's not there. It's just not there, Bob. What don't you know?
Yeah. Well, so did they just? But again, they've completely shunned the whole middle section of So how do you get from India to Australia, right? And Papua New Guinea and all that? Well, you have to go through, if you look at the, you look at the land bridge, you look at everything else, it's got to go through, the Vietnam and all these other Southeast Asian areas, right?
Yeah, you would think that would also be land bridge.
Why wouldn't all of Micronesia be included in said study instead of cherry picking?
It doesn't give us the right answer, Bob. It doesn't give us the answer we want.
It's not mysterious enough.
It's not ambiguous enough.
So
we need more ambiguosity.
It begs more questions, which is what science is all about, is begging questions, but you can't present it as if it's true.
That's right. Never take it as it's gospel.
It's wow, that's really interesting. What could it be? That's the question. What could it be? Well, let's look into it. I'm fine with that. Just don't tell me that there's an unknown mystery hominid when you missed an entire cross-section of people between the geographical areas. Moving on.
They're probably Laotians. Anyhow, this is an oldie but a goodie. I just realized that this was old. We should have skipped it anyhow. But genetic Adam and Eve uncovered? No, not actually. But apparently, almost every man alive can trace his origins to one man who lived about 135,000 years ago, new research suggests. Well, that's old research now. And that ancient man likely shared the planet with the mother of all women. So would that have to be that way? Would it have to be mutation X and mutation Y?
No, actually, it's kind of impossible, and I was kind of surprised by this in general, and I'm like, that's not how it works.
Yeah, somebody got infected with a virus and a bunch of XYs were born.
Like, somehow this one guy who was like alive at the same time as this one other lady, and were separated by geography. No, they had to have knocked boots in order for this to work. It's like, I'll pronounce you the most important husband and wife in human history.
And if none of your children live, we're all fucked. So don't believe everything you read on Live Science either. Let's move through this one really quickly. I like this one too. Scientists documented wild birds talking with humans for the first time. Zoologists have documented an incredible relationship between wild birds in Mozambique and the local Yao people who team up together to hunt for honey. Using a series of special hails and chirps, the humans and birds are able to communicate. Honey guide birds lead the way to hidden beehives where the Yao people share the spoils with their avian friends. That's some cool shit right there.
Yeah, well, and a lot of people actually say that Sasquatch mimics bird calls, and maybe there's something to this. Is it honey? There's honeybees up here. The bears do it. Maybe they're just not smart enough to communicate with the avian population, or are they trying to find something else? Termites, grubs, whatever.
Mutualistic relationship that's been known for more than 500 years, but now for the first time, a team of researchers from the UK and South America, kind of like when Columbus discovered 100 million people living in the Americas, have shown the honey guide birds and humans are actually communicating both ways in order to get the most benefit out of their collaboration. Now, I mean, that's just why would the birds give away the location of the food? I don't understand that. I mean, I guess you'd have to,
because we can trick them. Birds,
we can train them into
birds can trick other birds. We've like ravens and corvids, other songbirds have been known to pull tricks in order to hide food and to keep from prying eyes or whatnot. But I always like, apparently we're going down this road with this whole thing, and this whole news bit is the quotes, air quotes. They're quote talking. Like if I were to do that sarcastically with air quotes, the birds and them are talking. No, there is a form of communication. Obviously, the people learned what the birds are doing when they find honey to communicate that there's honey, and they're trying to somehow benefit from that. And the birds will benefit too, because if it's hard to get honey and the people break into it, well, then the birds can go right in too, right? So there's a little quid pro quo going on here. But are they talking? Do you think that they remark about the weather or
right? Exactly. I mean, if Yao man here goes, yo, honey bird, where is the beehive? I don't think the bird's talking back.
It's over there, asshole.
Yeah, they're communicating, and that's the big difference. Humans can learn to communicate with lots of things. We communicate with bears. I communicate with a macaw and several cockatiels. I mean, dogs.
We can use hand signals to communicate with dogs. We can, the cats really they know what you mean, but they don't give a shit. They know what you mean, but they don't give a shit. Basically,
nope. That's exactly it. They just want to shit in that box and eat. They're good.
I see what you're saying there, but no, I will not get off your computer.
No, yeah, I don't care if I'm overheating your processor. It's not my problem. ScienceAlert.com. I thought it was cool. Check it out. They're sharing the honeybees. That's right. Gray Bigfoot spotted in California just a couple of days ago. Salinas, California, a man in Monterey County on Tuesday said he saw an ape-like animal and it tried to attack his cat. Son of a bitch. David, a 35-year-old general contractor from Salinas, claims the creature has been messing with his property since June, and there is a group of them. They threw an object against my greenhouse, David told Zoology News. Then they threw another object against the workshop. Reportedly, the man heard a growl as it tried to attack one of his pets. The big male tried to get my cat. He said, I heard it run from the house. A few minutes later, David explains one of the motion alarms went off, and that was when he decided to find out the source of the ruckus. I tossed a rock over the roof towards the area. Then the same alarm went off, but this time it growled at me. Sounded like a growl from one of them cat incidents. He claimed that went down the ravine. Visual contact occurred. It was a gray Sasquatch. It must have been spotted because the night that the big foul smelling was strong. And there we go. We got strong smelling and we've seen a Sam scratch. David says that he's found massive bed areas spread around his property. Now, that I'd be interested in seeing because I think I've seen something like that before and I've never seen one again. So I would like to compare something like that. He said that the animal looked like a gray ape but didn't specify about any other physical features. In 2015, a California lawyer claimed to have been attacked by a Bigfoot as well. Also last year, a family in Alabama asked authorities to help them with a Bigfoot problem they were experienced on their property in Gainestown. We covered that one as well. Mm-hmm. Salinas, known as the hometown of John Steinbeck, which kind of name's lost on me, is located at the mouth.
An author of sorts.
Oh, okay. Well, that's one of them things that, dyslexic people don't know a whole lot of authors. And now to the Salinas Valley, it has a large agricultural industry. By the way, the famous researcher, or I should say the Bigfoot investigator, Bart Catino, has put out feelers for this. If anybody actually knows this guy, if you're the guy and you're actually watching this show, contact Bart on Facebook. He's very interested in researching your particular story to see if we and us, see if he can't help you. So if you look up Bart Catino on Facebook, he's not hard to find. He would be glad to hear your story more. Credit to this one goes to cryptozoologynews.com. Hey, we don't have a camp tips for stupids this week, and we don't have quasi theories this week. You'd think we have a show 7 nights a week or something, but no, we have it once a week. There's a whole 7 days between each of these things, but whatever. We're okay. This time do a little bit of shout outs in the lounge though. Let's see who's hanging out in the live hangout chat room on YouTube tonight. Dave Jackson, you were here earlier. Don't know if you're here still, but I'm sure you are. Starshine, how you doing? We are glad. Hope you're feeling better. Mr. Dave Stump, he's there. Rod Dupree in the place to be. Well, hope you're feeling well and doing well. Mr. Frank Smith, Mr. Sam Rivera, Mr. Levi Erickson, Dean Cooper, our quasi-theorist, is out there. Mr. Ginn, yeah, you still need a vowel in there somewhere. We'll figure it out one of these days. Wayne on MILF. Really? We're talking about MILFs on our show, and this guy shows up. Karma? Coincidence? I don't know. Let's see here. Who else is floating around out there tonight? Kevin K. Glad you could join us as well. Who lives in Mammalia, Australia. Wow, what a name. That's a mouthful. Mr. Cameron Young is joining us as well. Marv Mervin, how you doing? Call of Mankey, the master of gaming. The master of gaming, I'm not sure. But that's what his name says. Fire Blaster says, yeah. What? Who's Fire Blaster again? I'm Fire Blaster. City Marco, how you doing there, pal? Let's see here. Who else is floating around out there tonight? There should be some more people. Thomas Thornburg. Sounds like a pitcher for the Yankees. Stuart Wright. There's another guy out there. Oh, God. What the heck is this? Tevin 881. Katie Evans 881. I see what you did there. I'm a linguist. I'm a cunning linguist at that. Cunning. It's Angela MSP. That's right. How you doing? Glad you could join us as well. Good grief, there's a lot of people tonight. We love this kind of stuff. Let's see here. I don't want to miss anybody, but there's a good chance I will. It happens every week. Somebody goes, you missed me. It's like, well, try to get in earlier. Let's see here. Who else is floating? Dave Jackson. If I haven't mentioned you before, I'm mentioning you now. Good grief. You need to start writing these people down that I did mention. That way I don't re-mention a million people and skip the other ones. Oh, we love the fact you guys are out there chatting. Kyle Murrow, how you doing? Glad you could do it. See, now it says Katie Evans. See, I see what she changed your name on me. See, you didn't think I was going to notice that. Glad everybody is hanging out and hiding out in the chat room tonight. We're going to be talking about the Sierra Sasquatch tonight. That is faux show. Why don't we start off talking about the most infamous California Bigfoot thing that ever happened? No, it was not Bluff Creek. It was in 1958, and his name was Jerry Crew. Jerry Crew, he knew what to do. Jerry Crew, he knew what to do. That's right, Jerry Crew, he knows what to do. Jerry Crew is a dozer operator, friggin' making roads for the logging industry, and comes across this big ass footless shoeless print. It was just like, what? Who? What do you do with? I mean, could you imagine this guy trying to figure out how am I going? I need to cast. What's a cast? I mean, I need to put something in there so I can take it with me. It's probably the first thought that he had in his head. What the hell am I going to pour in there that's going to make it hard? You know, casting was not an art in 1958. I couldn't imagine where where would you get plaster of Paris clear in the deep woods like that in 1958? I'm not sure. But further along down the road, 9 years later, we've got the Patterson Bigfoot at Bluff Creek. David, can you show us where Bluff Creek is there, buddy?
Well, I could.
But
I honestly, like the issue is that I couldn't actually get all of the with all of the BFRO overlay on here. I had to turn it off because it was just too many Bigfootses.
You could see so much.
You could see so much. Well, so we're talking about Washington up here, Oregon, California, and we'll start Bluff Creek. This is the most northerly area that we're going to be talking about.
The Six Rivers National Forest.
Yeah, and you literally, if you just look up Bluff Creek Campground, this is where Bluff Creek and the Klamath River come together. This is very near where all of this stuff really went on.
You go ahead and zoom right back in on that spot, right where the river meets the other river. Now, if you watch 9 Men Search for Bigfoot, you learned that this is where the mountain actually gave way after the flood. The flood came through, the river Bluff Creek backed up due to all of the log jams and everything else. And instead of it clearing all the log jams below, it actually blew out the side of the mountain. Now joins the Klamath River right here. So literally 1.5 miles back up Bluff Creek from here is where the Patterson Gimlin footage was taken. There's no marking directly on here because we don't really care, but what we're looking at is the type of environment that we're in. Once again, we're in rolling hills and ridges. We're in high water, lots of rain areas.
The drainage off of so you have your ocean evaporation, your high catch, and the drainage areas in the semi-low elevations. Like you get up into some of these high areas and not a whole lot probably going on Bigfoot wise. I mean, if you really want to look at it, okay, so there might be, but but really cool area. And this is before when I go down and visit Jeff, and we go up to like the Sierra Hills area, and it feels like a totally different biome than what I'm used to. But the Bluff Creek area is going to be similar to that. Yes. It's similar to that rainforested area that I'm used to, where there's going to be that lush undergrowth, the ferns and all that other stuff, where it's not dry pine everywhere. So a very cool area to hide out if you're a Sasquatch, because it's going to be mild, temperate, and green most of the year round. And I mean, come on, there's not a lot going on around here. I mean, this is, this measurement down here is 7 miles. So you know how much you can hide in 7 miles. If anybody has ever hiked 7 miles in, you know how much you can hide in that. And, here now
You're
we're
in the middle of like 4 different national forests.
20 miles. And really, you have to start zooming out to really get back into where you see any sort of good settlement. I mean, there's some hikers and backpackers and some places, and I mean, this is a really cool area. And why I've always some people poo-poo this particular experience and all the stories that come out of this area, but really, it is just like that perfect river bottom area. This is what I look for when I'm trying to find an area to do any sort of research in.
Now, if you look right up the creek there, the other campground most likely is Louse. Is that Louse Camp over there on that green one?
It just says campground.
Well, zoom in on it a little closer. It might tell you which campground.
Fish Lake.
No. Okay. So, all over this particular area, besides the famous Patterson-Gimlin footage, on Onion Mountain, there were lots of places for the Onion Mountain's much smaller peak. It comes right up the hill from Louse Camp, which is God, I can't remember exactly where Louse Camp is compared to all of this because I didn't drive there. Anyhow, Louse Camp, Blue Mountain, Lard Meadow. There's sighting after sighting after sighting out of this location that isn't the Patterson-Gimlin film that all describe the hairy. You got to put California in there. That doesn't work.
Whoop! Found it.
Yeah. Yee. Louse Camp Run, Hannahsville. No, I don't believe that's where we're talking about.
Google Earth is not going to help us out with that one.
No. So let's go on and move on to the next one, which would be the Tule River Reservation. Now, that is where the famous rock painting comes from that Kathy Strain, you see them talking about on all the documentaries. The Tule River Reservation is home to the Yukits and is located approximately 25 miles. Yay, not cool. I totally lost the page that I was reading from. Isn't that friggin' fantastic when that happens? 25 miles outside of Porterville, California, in the central California. It's the base of the Sierra Nevada mountains and is on the eastern edge of the San Joaquin Valley. Now, Mr. David, I'm sure.
Well, I found something else. It's always that. I always have to be so specific on these things. Back down here, I was like, that's too far north. Chico, California. They make good beer there, but that's not what we're looking for.
And see, for some reason, I thought that was going to be way up there. So the Sequoia National Forest is out there as well. Anyhow, back to what I was talking about. They've got 91,837 acres on the Tule River Reservation. Clear flowing stream, the harbors, the trout and the other small fish. The river can become swift and fast near the spring mouths and heavy rains throughout the reservation. It's just one of those places that you'd never really expect to see a Sasquatch, but yet there's lots of stories. If you go ahead and bring the BFRO overlay up to show, there's still a ton of Bigfoot sightings that go along with reports in this area.
But you'll notice that they all are confined to the greener pastures and areas. Now, could that be just because that's where all of the life is living? Well, yeah, probably. Like, if you're not a bird or reptile of some sort, you're probably not really living up here. Insects are good. You have to remember, mammals have basic needs, and this is where all the mammals are going to be. So here's Porterville. They said 25 miles
outside of. It just said 25 miles outside of.
Well, so we're looking in these ish areas in the Sequoias, which obviously, you know, we have some 2000, 2002. This is not the most up-to-date map that or overlay that I have, but 2008. I mean, there's some contemporary things going on down here. Our buddy Stelio Cantos was in the Sequoia National Forest when he had his encounter.
Exactly. Now, according to the tribe, Painted Rock has drawings of a coyote, a beaver, bear, frog, centipede, an eagle, a condor, a lizard, and a male and female, plus a baby Sasquatch. The drawings are all completed in red, black, white, and yellow. And 1978, they estimated that the pictographs were sketched in AD 500, but the possible range in their age could be between AD 1 and AD 1200. I'm pretty sure that they mean 1 CE and, 1200 CE. I don't know what AD is. But anyhow, the pictographs on the purported Bigfoot does look similar to the hominid, and the docent explained that Bigfoot plays a critical role in the evolution of the tribe. Their name for the hominid is Mayak Dada Sunsunut. Mayak Dada Sunsunut.
I prefer
Bigfoot. Bigfoot, the hairy man. And it was the feeling of the tribe that Bigfoot was a welcomed figure when they inhabited the Painted Rock. They believed that Bigfoot kept away the bad mammals, the coyote, the mountain lions, and the grizzly bears. Nabs also allowed unlimited photography opportunities at the site. And there's a bunch of pictures of it on the nabigfootsearch.com/Yugits. You can find all those pictures out there. They're pretty friggin' cool. But for our correlative study, once again, if you're looking at these areas they're talking about, 25 miles outside of Porterville, you can only assume that it's going to have a correlation to these Sasquatch sightings. And look at that. They're all in the green area on the seaboard side of a large peak. All of your water and all of your nutrients flowing down, and they're all they follow the rivers all the way down, basically. Like, if you really get right back in here, they're all going to follow your valleyed areas. It's really it's interesting. And so we first talked about our most northern Bigfoot sightings and locations, and now we're talking about the southern locations as well. And you can see that the ecosystems are completely different, but yet we're still in a green belt zone. This is the same distance from Pennsylvania to Georgia. This is the same type of a green zone and a green belt that leads along a mountainous area, which is we call the Sierras, which lead into the Sequoias, which lead into the friggin' Mojave, which lead into friggin' Mexico and everywhere else. I mean,
it is like, and when you zoom out and you get this nice space, this is the tail on which the Sierra mountain range ends, right? Like,
if Florida is the penis, California is the butthole.
Yeah. So right down here, I'm not even sure what that is. It's whatever that is. It's right here, and I'm pretty sure it evacuates in Los Angeles. But if you look at the mountain range, and and exactly what we're talking about, the seaboarding mountain and the rain catch and then flowing outside, and you start to put those BFRO sightings back in there, and oh, look, there they are. There's some outside of that for sure, but most of them are right up against that area,
because that's how biology works. If it works that way for one, it works that way for all.
Exactly. And if it works that way for mammals in general, that's a pretty good place to start. So why don't we take that into account when we're trying to find places? Anyway,
let's go a little bit further north of the giant sequoias then, and let's talk about the Stanislaus National Forest. Somebody made that word up, but it was probably
how about the river, and then I'll find the
that'll work.
Oh, look, north.
Look at that. That's
Here
it.
we go.
We went just a little bit north up to the Stanislaus River.
This one, however, is the Stanislaus River Oh wait, Google Earth, you're giving me a hard
Go
time.
on,
Really?
Google Earth, you're drunk.
Yeah, exactly. So like here, okay, is Stanislaus River, but what we're really talking about isn't where this pin dropped, because again, if you put this overlay on there, the Bigfoot, oh, they're not down there, of course. So you really do have to look at it in the context of, again, what we're talking about. Hey, look, here's our peak, here's our run, there's some stuff over here, but most of it's on the flowing side to the water, blah 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 blah.
Now,
and so what we're talking about,
the dark side of this particular mountain areas, there's the Stanislaus National Forest. You got it zoomed in there.
Yep.
They're actually talking about the eastern side of this is where Ron Moorhead and Al Barry, Al Barry recorded the Sierra Sounds, and
they're talking about the Mono Lake and this whole area that we've kind of talked about too. But they're east of the peak is in the Inyo National Forest versus the Stanislaus.
Right. Well, trying to pinpoint, nobody knows exactly where they were recorded. We're just due to the research that I've done, listening to podcasts, and John has done a tremendous amount of trying to figure out exactly what plateau they're even on. But that particular area is where the Sierra Sounds were recorded, where exactly nobody knows except for the people who have been there, but fine.
if you look at this though, like in context, and you're like, okay, well, it could be anywhere from like here to here and maybe up and down here about 100 miles or 50 miles this way and that way. But
in the context of things, if they're in one of those locations, they're in all of those locations.
And as we talk about, if this is, elevation,
how many groups would live across that plateau? How many Sasquatch would, where would they migrate in and out of?
Do they migrate north and south?
Do they migrate?
Probably not.
No. Do they migrate low to high?
Low to high? Absolutely. Do they migrate across?
Maybe so.
Maybe, but probably not.
We poo-pooed Mono Lake, but now that we look at it, maybe a second possibility is. I'm
thinking like right through here. Like this looks like a nice kind of place to hang out in context of a lot of the other things, especially like midsummer when you're really trying to like beat the heat, get down low, be in a water bearing place. Like if there was a spring up here, like to feed this little guy right here, that's probably a pretty cool place to be. And when you go back down during the winter, well, do you really have a sense of direction enough to know, or do you just get out of the snow line and you go either to Mono Lake or over here? We poo-pooed it, but you have to think these things through. And like all true pseudoscientists, we have to change our minds.
That's right. I don't have to be a woman. So you got the Yosemite Valley, you've got the Yosemite National Park, you've got
the Happy Isles. That's nice.
There's happy. There's a gazillion reasons for Bigfoot to be in these areas, because these areas are all protected. All the places we've talked about today are national forests. National forests are seriously not something that the general public play. Like, poaching is not a big deal to somebody like me. I understand what the charge is, and sometimes the juice is worth the squeeze. But, in a national forest, no, I'm not poaching nothing in a national forest. No, thank you. I'm not interested. I know Shine.
If you actually look at population in these areas, I mean, who does land development in a national forest? Nobody. That's the point. That's the purpose. And I'm not saying that's a government conspiracy. I'm just
saying, God, did Roosevelt set aside property for the Bigfoots?
He just felt bad because his friend iced one, back in Yosemite. Yeah, no. So but when you think about it, these areas, these green areas are important for all wildlife. So of course they would be important for Sasquatch too, but they're also not. People don't live there. That's it. They can't live there. You could try to live there, but you really can't live there.
Unless you're living in one of those cabins we talked about last week that just magically appears and disappears.
And then you're as elusive as the Sasquatch themselves. But
that's right.
But the cool thing is about all these areas is that there are inroads. You can go there. Like there are plenty of places. Like, you know, if it were me and I'm like, well, shoot, like let's just throw up the BFR overlay while I'm here. And I'm not saying this is gospel. I'm just saying it's cool for correlative study.
It's reports. It's literally reports of the areas that
we have this Mono Lake area. Like for me, like I'd be like late summer, going into fall and early spring. I'd be checking this area out. This is cool. What is this? Lambert Dome, you know, and Dog Lake. That would be Dog Lake. Those would be cool areas to go check out. And if you really look in here, I bet you that there are access roads, and you know the Pacific Crest Trail comes right through here, so you know you can get at least hiking in. These are cool areas that you can actually explore. But people don't live there, and this is actually a pretty good haul to get up in there. But you know, so if you feel like doing that, be careful. But this is why I like California so much, is because there's so many people there that people think it's impossible that there's unexplored or uninhabited area. It's like somehow people have covered the entirety of California. Like, no, they really haven't, because we set aside these lands for all the wildlife, and
including humans. So yeah, let's skip a little further north and go up to Tahoe. And we'll look at the Lake Tahoe area there. That's that giant blue thing there by 580, Chief, right south of Reno.
Oh yeah, right there.
That's Lake Tahoe. There's a gazillion sightings all over this area here. There's a Bigfoot campfire story that talks about this whole area. The Desolation Wilderness is through there, so there's a couple of stories about that as well. I mean, again, we're talking about vacationers, because in the wintertime this shit's cold, and I mean cold. I mean, it's freaking cold. Like Lake Tahoe freezes like cold. Mm-hmm. Like you can't go ice fishing on it, but it's fucking cold. So there's lots of people there in the summertime, but come wintertime, they're skiing in the resorts, and that's about it. Outside of that, it's pretty empty. So, you know, again, with the Sasquatch, we're thinking they migrate low to high, and the people are at the ski resorts in the wintertime, which is the high spots where the foods would be. Why wouldn't they see a Sasquatch?
Probably not at Dix Lake. But
Lake, no, there is the matter of fact, there's a Bigfoot campfire story about Dix Lake in the Desolation Wilderness.
Oh, look at that. Man, I'm an asshole. So
see? Check that out. I know something you didn't know.
So the interesting thing, like, you know, I mean, it's right outside of Sacramento. This is like the whole ridge. I mean, this is like the high point of the Sierras, right? Like as you go up right in through here, and there's this big lake going right down into like,
yeah, that lake's at like 5,000 feet.
Yeah, feeding down into Reno. And I mean, fantastic stuff. But again, it's in these national forests, the Tahoe National Forest. There's all these great areas that have access roads. Hellhole Road. Great. Let's go there.
I've seen a Sasquatch on Hellhole Road.
Yeah, Hellhole Reservoir. Yeah.
Hellhole Reservoir. All right.
On our next trip, we're going there. You know, French Meadows. I don't know what that is. But there's a lot of, you know, a lot of uninhabited area. I guess I'm just zooming in randomly talking about stuff. But what I'm trying to show is that there's no people here. This is all uninhabited. There's this person at a trailhead who's going to show you how to hike up here. But really, really vast expanses of area. I mean, 20 miles, you know, east to west, and hundreds of miles north to south, where there just ain't nobody there.
You know, would a Sasquatch migrate from the northern Sierras to the southern Sierras? Probably not. I don't think it would have to. Could it? Absolutely. It could literally walk from where we were talking about at Bluff Creek to pretty much the Sequoias without being seen.
Well, and so here, when we're looking at all these cool areas with the peaks and valleys, so the valleys could be, springtime, fall time, summer, they start to go up, and then, in wintertime, they're down in the lowest areas. They don't necessarily have to come back to any particular place. There's no home base. They probably don't have a condo, right?
Well,
they're not on their daily commute.
That
so
becomes the social question, though, because like a black bear will claim territory and he'll eat that territory, and he'll mate with anything that's in that territory.
So we don't have a good analog for like a patch eater, like a gorilla or an orangutan, because they're so boxed in, and basically, like an orangutan can climb up a tree and stay there for months, right?
We had orangutans, and they had just 1/8 of the Tahoe National Forest to live in. They would be the happiest orangutans on the planet.
So, what we're saying is, because of the climate and because of the food resources that you would have to follow, that you could start down here, you go up this ridge, and then it's cold. Okay, down. Okay. Up. Oh, down. Like, there's no reason to have to go back to where you started. So, yes, you could migrate for long periods of time, and that might be why it's so hard to find a particular place where these creatures come back to, right? Because they're constantly just moving forward, up and down with seasons, or around the circle and spirals and fractals,
right.
Why would they go any particular direction? And why would they have to go in any particular direction? I don't see the need for that. They just need to go with the rise and fall. And when you see all of these peaks and valleys, there's no reason for them to follow any particular pattern. And that's infuriating for somebody who wants to look at these maps and correlative studies,
that lends credence to some of the tracks that they say that they have found, where it's the same animal 20 years later with more scars on its feet, but it's 395 miles away.
And honestly, if you were trying to be whether or not you're consciously aware of it, but if you were trying to avoid inbreeding, that would be a pretty good strategy.
Yeah.
The aimless wandering,
meandering,
but if you
bilf,
the meandering bilf. But if you were trying to set up like a monogamous relationship, and then you finally found a spot, you could just go up and down the side of the hill where you were comfortable, and that would be cool. But so there's all these different aspects, and we don't really know any of them. But there's no reason to.
We're not even going to play like we know shit. We're going to tell you outright, we don't know any of this.
But there's no reason to believe that you could go back to Soha or all of these places where people I go back here and have Bigfoot activity every single time.
Right.
Well, I could see that over the course of a summer, a season, maybe that they're there for this 3-month period, but forever.
Every single time you go back there, the Sam's going, oh, hi, Matt. How you doing? Matthew. Can you say Matthew?
Yeah.
Anyhow. Boy.
Isn't Utah Squatch up here somewhere? Anyway.
Fuck that guy. Yeah, don't give any money to Utah Squatch, period. Straight up, though. I mean, the California Bigfoot stories have been around long before white man ever came out here. The Native Americans knew about them long before the white man came and stole everything. Yeah, that's right. I'm bitter. Screw you people. But, when those stories predate modern stories by 400 years, 1400s, 1500s, there's stories on the East Coast of Bigfoot. Who knows how far the stories go back on the West Coast, because I haven't researched that enough yet, but it goes a long damn way. There's just so much uninhabited mountain range in California. There's no reason that there's not a Sasquatch out there.
Exactly.
The Gold Lake, the very last place we were going to talk about tonight.
We just can't leave it alone. Can't leave it alone.
We love the Gold Lake area because that's our home research area. We spend a lot of time around there. Go ahead and bring the BFRO sightings up there because there's going to be quite a number of them right there on top of where we're talking about. Wow. Apparently not. That's exciting, actually.
It's funny.
Because it's deep.
A big gap there.
Yeah, because it's deep in there. I mean, we know how deep in there that is. I guess that would be a good reason as to why the Bassett Station. That's like the last inhabited place anywhere near. You're an hour from any hospital. From that location right there, if you need a hospital, it's going to take you an hour to get there.
There's the Bassett Station right there.
The Bassett Station, that's right. It's the only room in place, and they're only open about 4 months out of the year. Because that's about the only time you can get up 49, because they close it. However, again, we're still talking about exactly the same types of peaks and valleys and ups and downs throughout the season. The food comes in low, and then it moves up the mountains, and then it finishes high up on the hills. Would the Sasquatch just keep meandering in a spiral around these mountains, just eating and eating and eating? Of course they would.
It would. It's the natural thing to do, right? Do deer come back to the same spot every year at the same time just to prove a point?
Yes.
No.
Yes, they do, as a matter of fact. They come back to the same meadows time and time again because they're known proven points of food. I mean, do they come back to the exact same 100-yard spot? No, but they do. They do come back to the same acreage time and time again because genetically, over the or seasonally over the years, there's always food there. Just like there at some of the Bigfoot spots that we have, you can pretty much predict when there's going to be 1,000 deer coming over the hill. Every year about the same week.
Which again, I get confused because it's different than the area that I live in, which. Yes, I have deer that kind of stay around my neighborhood, but that's because they're kind of cut off.
They're pets.
Yeah, they're pretty much pets.
They're neighborhood pets at this point. People are planting bushes just for them to eat.
But there's no reason for. I mean, the deer don't just do that. You don't see the same deer over and over and over again in the same area over the course of seasons, I guess is what I'm saying. Like one season, yes, you'll see them come up and down and through and whatever, but here we don't see that. Even in my neighborhood, you see them, they hunker down. Right now is a good time for them to be down here in the low areas because it's perfect.
Now you and
late summer, they'll completely disappear and they'll come back in the winter, which is weird.
Now you and I went up there and we ended up stopping in Downeyville, and you see that right there on the map where there is a Bigfoot, big old, yep, right there. There isn't anywhere else to stop and report a sighting between there and Bassett's. So that's why there's giant gaps of places between here, because you can't get off of these hills on the main roads. People don't.
Sierra City is like the most major city that you come across,
and it's
for like hundreds of miles.
Yeah, don't blink.
Yeah. You don't see most of this, but yeah, this is not a major city. It's like, oh, there you go.
There's one gas station, and it might be open.
Can you even get gasoline at Bassett Station? I don't think
Bassett does have fuel.
Okay.
When they're open.
Yeah, that's right up there.
Yeah, and it wasn't even that bad of a price, to be honest with you. I was really, really surprised. Anyhow, that's gonna wrap it up for our California Bigfoot Sam's Glance edition. But as you can tell, California has many, many diverse biomes that the Bigfoot are going to be able to exist in, but they're all within that same national forest, water-laden areas. It's all greenage. The more green, the more Sasquatch. Would you say that, David?
Absolutely. And the more uninhabited territory that you have, the more any kind of wildlife you're going to see. So if you look at like, so this is another part of my overlay, like all the national forests, you might as well just click off the BFRO overlay and just look at the national forest, because it's the same pattern. It's even more specific when you look at these badges. Those are the places we have access. Those are the places we can go on a regular basis. And those are the places that, I mean, are protected for a reason. The reason is that it's to protect the wildlife that is there and to protect the things that, you know, some of our government officials like Teddy Roosevelt thought was so great because he decided to set this all up in the first place. Fantastic.
It was a conspiracy to protect the Sasquatch.
Yep, absolutely. Colorado, maybe we should go there next. There's probably some sightings there.
Yeah, we'll have to check out the Colorado Bigfoot. I'm very sure around Pikes Peak there's got to be Sasquatches. No?
I
can't believe that.
There
we go. Okay. Yeah, lots of Sasquatches. We'll go there on one of these editions here to check out the Colorado Bigfoot. All right, guys, that's going to do it. We're already long for this edition of this, and we knew it was going to be a long edition because there's so much to talk about as far as the California Bigfoot goes. And we barely touched the tip, playing just the tip, just for a moment, just to see if we like it.
I've never been successful.
No, I always lose at just the tip. Just be warned, if I ever want to play just the tip with you, you're getting the whole thing.
If I play just the tip here, we're going to be talking entire biomes and national forests and coniferous species.
Coniferous species, that's right.
Yeah.
Shit at each other shit. All right. If you want to hang out with us after the show, send me a private message. I'm sitting here on Facebook. We're going to be hanging out after the show as well. We want to thank everybody for watching, and join us Monday night for Bigfoot Entertainment Weekly. I think we're going to find Bigfoot the Definitive Guide and talk about the Meldrum. Oh,
the Meldrum.
That's right. Thank everybody for watching, and Beta Squatch be with you.
Dum.
I almost pressed the BEW adult content warning. that
Too late.
Rock and roll jihad. That's right. That's actually produced our theme song. David's been swearing for years he's going to write a new one, but still waiting.
Maybe if I get out squashing first.
See y'all next week, people. Peace.
Bamfoot. Masturbate.